Good afternoon. My name is Paul Mullen from career and outplacement firm Measurability, and topic of the talk today is get social networked and get hired. I'm going to be talking about some of the social network platforms available to you to help with your job search. Social networking to me is a proactive job search strategy. It means it represents somebody who's, in my mind, attacking the job market. Now, that's not what I'm here to talk about today, attacking the job market, but it's going to be an underlying theme of this. I've been working with job seekers, people changing careers, moving careers over the best part of 15, 16 years. And what I find are the most successful job seekers are those who are proactive, those who get up and try and make things happen rather than sit waiting for stuff to present itself for them. So that's going to be an underlying sort of like message today, hidden behind the whole social media topic. Okay, so the benefits of social media, some general benefits. Now, how many people, like when I talk about social media, generally I'm talking about 3 tools: LinkedIn, Twitter, and even Facebook. Okay, so every year if I explain, social media and all these tools took a grip on job search, how people look for jobs, how they manage their careers, I started getting into it about maybe 5 years ago, and every year I come to these events, every year I come to talk. Okay, the numbers of people using these tools is increasing, okay? Now, the thing I'll ask, and I'll talk about this later on, a lot of people think by simply being in these places, by following, by reading, by looking, that they're using these tools from a job search. You're not, okay? It's joining these sites is only the first step. Creating a profile is only the first step. Okay, the secret to success using any of these sites is activity. Okay, now one of the key benefits of social media for me, I said earlier, it was a proactive job search strategy, is accessing the hidden job market. Okay, you may throughout the college, you may have heard this when you're speaking to careers, you may have had people come into your colleges talking about it. Are people familiar what I mean when I say hidden job market? Okay, these are jobs that are not advertised. Okay, now some may have heard this statistic before, some may not. 2 out of every 3 jobs is not advertised. Do people believe me when I say that? Okay, so that means so the beauty of something like social media, it allows you to tap into this, to make yourself visible, to try and access these hidden jobs. Okay, most people react to the job market. Okay, hands up how many people will be using recruitment agencies as part of their job search. Okay, how many people will be using job boards, Irish Jobs, Recruit Ireland for their job search, Grad Ireland for their job search? How many people will be looking on notice boards, looking in newspapers, looking for advertised jobs? Okay, yes, you and every other single job seeker. Okay, the problem if a job is advertised tomorrow is that it's low-hanging fruit. I call advertised jobs the M50 of the job market, because that's where all the traffic is. Okay, that's where it becomes very difficult to stand out. That's where it becomes very difficult to differentiate yourself from everyone else. Okay, so there's huge competition. Okay, more importantly, okay, the problem with reacting to the job market is that you're typically relying on CV, and you're typically relying on sending your CV, okay? Now, how many people here think that their CV is a true reflection of them? Okay, well, I mean, it's interesting that only 2 people put up. For me, it's not. It tells me where you went to school. It tells me what you qualified with and maybe your few part-time jobs. It doesn't tell me about your attitude, it doesn't tell me about your personality, okay? Your desire to work, which are all important factors for any hiring decision. Qualifications and experience will get you to the interview table, okay? But the best, from my experience in my years of recruitment, the most qualified and most experienced person doesn't always get the job. Okay, and that's because other factors come into play. The unfortunate thing is when you're reacting to the job market, you can't get your personality out there. You can't, because you're relying on this piece of paper, and if it's not working, you're goosed. Okay. The other thing about this is about reacting to the job market is there's frustration there too, because if no jobs are advertised, okay, what can you do? Whereas, again, I'm going to show you today, where social networking, you can be taking positive steps every single day to try and make this happen, for you, okay? Increases your visibility, okay? I work off this formula myself, A plus C equals V equals O, okay? And it's not leaving cert maths day to day, I don't think. Anyone take a stab at what that means? Okay, well, I'm not going to waste time. Activity plus creativity equals visibility, okay? And I'll tell you now, the more visible you become, the more visible you make yourself, the more you'll help these opportunities find you. I describe it like a pond, okay? Every positive action you take, you're throwing a pebble into the pond. You're creating ripples. The more ripples, you're helping these jobs find you, okay? Now, networking, this is a very, very important thing. If I said to you now, okay, one of the benefits of social media networking is it takes the fear out of networking. So if I said to you, a room here now, there are key decision makers, recruiters, HR managers, and hiring managers in the room next door, drinking wine and eating vol au vents, okay? I want you all to go in there and network with them. How many people would handstand into the room? How many people would jump up and go and walk into that room? Confidently and see, look how many people put their hands up here, a fraction. There's normally probably 5 or 10%. People are afraid of networking, okay, that, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to be asked somebody for a job, okay? Whereas social media network, it takes that human contact out of the equation. It's a little easier to engage with somebody online, okay? Now, I'm going to make a very important point, okay? And this is one point to take away. You don't spend your life online, because social media network has not replaced real-world interaction, okay? You'll make connections online, okay? You've got to bring them offline. You've got to meet these people for coffees, for lunches. You've got to still engage in the real world. But that's a big benefit. It takes the fear, okay? Increases your access to important people, okay? I'm going to give you in the next slide some facts about LinkedIn, okay? How many people use this and stuff. You know, if you typically, which again people don't do, another proactive strategy is ringing a company up and saying, hey, I want to work for your company, okay? Most people won't do that, okay? Because of the fear of rejection. Okay, now, but the other thing about that is most people won't answer the phone. Okay, if you're ringing up the company, the reception's going, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, I'm a graduate, I'm looking for a job. Okay, send your CV in. You will not get, you'll need to be very skilled to get through. Now, there are ways to do it, and we're not turning you off it, but you need to be very skilled. Whereas all these people you're probably looking to contact are using Twitter, are using LinkedIn. Okay, Facebook is a bit more difficult, but they're using these mediums. And I guarantee you now, if somebody sent me a tweet via Twitter, I'd reply back to them, okay? Now, like if I was a hiring manager, but not necessarily if somebody is phoning me because, oh, I'm busy, I don't have time. And surprisingly and not, like, you'd be surprised to hear, not a lot of people are actually doing that, okay? You know, people are like sending sort of like positive sort of messages to people on untraditional routes. People would send a CV via email. People don't have time to read emails, okay? Hiring managers, operations managers, their inbox is full. So why not take a route or pick a route where there's not that much sort of like communication channel, where somebody is not as cluttered and might be more inclined to come back and engage with you, okay? Very important too, free information, okay? You have a source between Twitter, between LinkedIn. Now, it's a negative in a way because there's so much information coming at you, but you can access free advice, free information to help you get to where you want to go, okay? I promise you now, if you ask anyone a question in a group on LinkedIn or on Twitter, they'll reply to you. Why? Yeah, visibility. So if somebody answers a question on LinkedIn, you know, if you ask me a question on LinkedIn and I answered it, I'm showcasing my skills and knowledge. Somebody reads this and said, this person knows what they're talking about. Maybe I'll engage them I'll engage them for their services. And that applies to yourself too when you're talking about the skills that you've acquired at college, you know, the expertise, the areas and the experience of where you want to go, is showcasing them as well. And finally, stay on the radar. And this goes back to my point about real world connection too. It's an easy way to sort of like say to people, hey, I'm still alive, I'm doing what I'm doing, or I'm still job hunting, I'm looking what I'm doing. Okay, it's easy to click a button and your network will talk. Like I'm coming down here to talk today, I'm putting it out on Twitter, okay? I'm saying to people, hey, I'm still doing careers, I'm still doing job search, I'm still helping people, you know, and this is, you know, I'm staying on the minds of people. Now these people following me could be people that used me 3 years ago who have forgotten about me and say, Jeannie Mac, I need a CV, I forgot about Paul Mullen. And it's that simple little click of a button, 2 minutes. So it's a way for you to effectively, because the reality of life now is you're not going to pick up the phone to your whole network and start ringing people down, hey, how are you, haven't spoke to you in a week. You know, I'd encourage you to do that, but you're not going to get round everyone. So, you know, that's where typically, which I probably won't talk a lot about today, is Facebook. You've let's say you're not that popular and you've 100 friends on Facebook, okay? All of those 100 friends know 100 people, okay? Anyone study maths? What's 100 hundreds? 10,000. Okay, so 10,000 people, how many potential doors into how many potential companies could that open for you? Okay, so so the last point here is it allows you to stay on the radar. Okay, now I was actually down at, I'm going to talk about LinkedIn now. I was down there about 2 weeks ago. They had a in-day for people who work with people in careers, just giving them some information and advice. Very positive day, positive picture they painted of the company. Got a few pens and stuff like that there, so it was a very productive day. But anyway, some interesting facts, okay, that they gave. Okay, and 160, well, for those of you who don't use LinkedIn, and the next few slides will show you a bit more information about it, but it's a professional networking site, okay? It's Facebook for suits, okay? Is how somebody once described it for me. There's 161 million users globally, okay? That's a lot of people, okay? So let's narrow that down. This figure here now is growing very, very quickly. 685,000 Irish professional profiles. Now, to me, that's a good proportion of the people working, okay? I don't know what the total figure is, but that's a lot of people. Now, they're key. A lot of them are working probably in most companies in the country. A lot of them, when you start surfing sort of LinkedIn, you'll see there's very, very senior people on here, key influencers. Any recruiter in Ireland is on LinkedIn, okay? Most HR functions are on LinkedIn, okay? The bottom line there, LinkedIn don't use agencies or advertisements to find any of their staff. If you want to work on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn, okay? Now, and the interesting fact today, which reminded me of when Bono clapped his hands, every 2 seconds, or I think it's every second, sorry, that might be wrong, 2 new LinkedIn profiles are created. Okay, so this site is growing at a speed of knots. Okay, so again, another point I'll say today, for those of you not using LinkedIn who are actively job searching, you're missing a big trick, okay? So walk away from today, set up a profile. And some of the points now I'm going to talk about will help you do that. Okay. How many people have done a session around LinkedIn for job search before? How to use it, how to maximize it? Okay, 1, 2, okay. Now, the first thing I want, I've got another question. How many people here have their own personal website? Okay, anyone else?
I'm working on one.
Okay. How many people would like their own personal website? Okay, well this is your own personal website. Okay, yeah, I'm going to show you now. LinkedIn, I'm going to talk about now. LinkedIn, you treat LinkedIn like your personal website. Okay, this is your landing page. Okay, you're now a company. Okay, and this is your website. This is your marketing brochure. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how to maximize that brochure online. Okay, and I'm also going to show you how to bring people to come and look at your LinkedIn profile. Now, some people are surprised to hear I have about 10 business websites, and I still send people to my LinkedIn profile. I send clients, have a look at my LinkedIn profile, because it's telling the same information. Okay, so that's how powerful this page can be. Okay, now the first thing I want everyone to do, take this down. Okay, when you set, if you haven't already done it, or if you have a profile and you haven't done it, once you set up, I'm not going to go in how you set up a profile today, but once you set up a profile, okay, the first thing you do is customize you go into Profile, Edit, and you customize your URL. Okay, now if we see here now, okay, can people see that at the back? Put this up a bit higher. This is your, okay, this is your LinkedIn profile URL. See that http://ie Paul Mullen? That's your website address, okay? And I'm going to show you how to use that later on. But the first thing you need to do is, when you set up a LinkedIn profile, at Paul Mullen, you'll have 23, 32, a load of numbers. So if any of you who haven't done that already, go onto your profile, you'll see that. What I want you to do is cut that and edit that just down to your name. Now, for any of you that have popular names or common names, it might already be gone, so you might have to do Paul Mullen 1, but just shorten that down to make it nice and clean, okay? And simply how you do that is go into Edit, okay, and see here, customize your public profile URL. Okay, very, very simply, go in, put your name, try and get it. If it's gone already, it'll say it's gone and it'll show you another couple of options. But I want you to customize that, because I'm going to show you how you're going to use that later on to draw people to come and have a look at your profile. Because once people click on that website or put that HTTP LinkedIn, your name into the browser, they'll come to your landing page, okay? They'll come to your online CV, your personal brochure, okay? Now, so that's the first thing, okay? Now, other areas of importance. Now, I want to say something here too. A lot of people get confused. Your LinkedIn profile is not your CV, okay? Because if most people put their CVs up online onto LinkedIn, they bore the death out of people, okay? You're trying to make this sort of, inject a bit of creativity in here. You're trying to put some personality into this profile again. This is social media networking, okay? It's about engagement as well. So how, and I'll show you some things about my profile later on to highlight that, okay? Try to complete your profile 100%, okay? And LinkedIn is very good that way, in that it'll tell you what you need to do to complete your profile, okay? Just again on the, see this 100% bar here where the cursor is? That'll tell you what you need to do to complete your profile. But some of the things I think are important, okay? Put up a picture, okay? A lot of people, again, this is, some people have issues with this, some people don't. Majority of people up there have a picture, okay? Now, when I say picture, remember, it's not Facebook, okay? So it's worthwhile going to spend, do people know what I mean when I say it's not Facebook? I don't want like an arm around your shoulder cut out at a wedding or something like that. I want, or you sitting on a canoe. I want a professional photograph. This is worth the, you may know somebody already. This is worth the 10, 20, 30, 40 euros to go out and get a professional snap, okay? Because this is the first thing people are going to see when they go on to the profile. So get a professional snap, spend the money, okay? So put a picture up there, okay? Now, your professional headline is another important area, okay? Now, basically, if you look here, this is what my professional headline, that's my professional headline. You'll see it under your name on your profile. Mine reads, Career Outplacement Personal Branding Consultant, inspiring creativity, increasing visibility, and generating career smiles. Okay? Now, did anyone smile? Only one person smiled there when I said it. Normally when you say smiles, people laugh. But now, so what I'm trying to do there is, I could put up there and say, Paul Mullen, Career Consultant at Measurability. Okay? But again, everyone is doing that. I am trying to preach, sort of do what I'm preaching here now, is to try and, is there another way I can communicate who I am, how I can market myself effectively using this? At the very least, okay, sorry, I'm in the way. At the very least, you want to put on there that you're looking for opportunities in marketing, that you're looking in opportunities in finance, okay? So, because when I show you about groups later on in this, when you join groups, when somebody puts the cursor over your name in a group, that's going to pop up a picture of you, your name, and that slogan, okay? So again, this could be the little punchline or tagline that makes them click, I want to go in and see this person, Okay, so that's why it's important. So put some thought into that. Simply again, I mean, I'm not going to go into these things, but beside your name, when you go into edit profile, you'll see edit, okay? And you can edit your professional headline via that tag button, okay? Where are we now? Okay, now the summary. Now, again, this is probably one of the first things people read. Now, I never use the word I in a CV, okay? I don't use I down when I list my work experience below, but I do here, okay? Because I'm trying to engage, I'm trying to talk to the actual reader. I'm trying to get across, it's a very difficult skill to do, but and it's probably impossible to do. I'm trying to get me across to the reader, try and give them a bit about me, because it's actually me that differentiates me from everyone else. It's me as an individual that differentiates me from my competition. Okay, a lot of people who would be my competition, like equally you have competition for the job market, have similar backgrounds, similar types of experience, and you know, so what I always say is that it's actually me as an individual that differentiates me. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to sort of get across my interest and my interest and passion for the area that I work in. Also, I'm selling myself as well here too. Don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? There's a purpose for this. I'm selling myself. I'm getting the sort of nuggets across that are going to say, ooh, this guy seems as if he knows what he's talking about. Okay. I always say the word seems as if he knows. I actually do know, but just to clarify that. Okay. So yeah, summary is very, very important. Now, the rest of the profile, you add things like qualifications, you add, like your work experience, okay? So what I will say here is, from things like work experience and stuff like that there, if it's relevant or you can make it relevant, okay, you don't want a list of about 40 part-time jobs and stuff like that there, okay? So it's trying to pick out the nuggets, the relevant stuff, okay? Because this is, again, it's not a CV. So like even on my profile, I have actually sort of some gaps where what I've done in that period is not directly relevant, okay? So I mean, why would I put it up, okay? Why would I have somebody read something that's not relevant, that for, you know, potentially somebody who wants to buy my services, it's not going to be relevant to them, okay? Now, what you can also do, like two things now I'm going to talk about. For me, hands down, a LinkedIn profile is a far stronger document than a CV. There's not even close competition, okay? Two other areas, because it's a richer document, okay? It can contain more information, okay? Two of the things to do that is you can get recommendations. Has anyone got a recommendation? Okay, so you can get recommendations. Again, you've got to think, if you're going to get recommendations, okay, you've got to think in terms of like, you know, what is a valuable recommendation? So if you've done an internship in marketing and you're a marketing graduate, well, yeah, that's a positive sort of recommendation. Friends and recommendation from friends and things like that is probably not worth the recommendation. So certainly bosses and somebody who can vouch for you, who is superior to you, absolutely 100%. Now, if you worked, when I set up LinkedIn, my profile, God knows how many years ago, I already had a website. I'd gone to a lot of my clients to get testimonials, so I didn't want to be asking them again, okay? So before I got recommendations through the site, I just copied and pasted some of my other testimonials over onto the text of my profile. So I had a couple of testimonials in my summary, okay? Just like some of the key testimonials. It does the same thing. People are reading it. You know what I mean? I said what the recommendation was and who it was from. It does the exact same thing. The other thing is, does anyone use applications? Okay. Okay, there's applications, and again, these are things, the nature of today, guys, I have 45 minutes to talk, so I can't go into this in huge detail, but there's applications here. Okay, under more, and you go into applications. Now, there are tools here that allow you to upload documents, Word documents, PDFs and stuff like that. So if you've done a thesis in marketing, if you've done like even if you had like a written recommendation from somebody, you can upload that onto your site. You can bring across your Twitter feed. If any of you have blogs or things like that, you can bring those onto your profile again. All of this stuff can help enrich. You can even add what books you're reading through an Amazon feed, application. Okay, if you were looking to get into marketing and you were reading marketing books, what signal does that send out? You're interested in what you're going to do. You can show what events you're attending as well too. So again, if you're going to marketing, networking events, if you're going to the ACCA finance events, you know, the IT professionals events and stuff like that, this again is sending, to me, it's sending out positive messages, positive signals. Okay. So that's all I'm going to talk about profile. So enrich your profile, okay, and that will give you what I call a stronger website. Now, why do a lot of websites fail?
No visitors.
Yeah, visitors, okay. Now this is where I'm getting on to the activity piece. There is no point in having a shining website if nobody's coming to it. There's no point in having a shiny LinkedIn profile if nobody is coming to it. There are a lot of people, I'm sure, who use LinkedIn there who have a profile. The only way somebody's going to find it is if they trip and slip and fall into it, okay, by accident. Okay, you've got to take actions online. You've got to take actions on LinkedIn to try and draw these people to your profile. Let me give you 2 examples, okay? I'll pull up the slide first. 2 examples. I work with a senior guy. I work with a senior guy. Okay, I work with a senior guy, a manager. Okay, helping him with some work around CVs and interviews. Okay, he got a job. Okay, he obviously moved on and got promoted to general manager within the company. Okay, I was speaking up at the start of the summer. It could have been 1 or 2 summers ago, and we were talking about something else. And he says, "Oh, by the way, Paul, I'm possibly looking for a graduate." Okay, contract for about 6 months. Okay, to do a few bits and pieces. Okay. If you hear of anyone, keep me in mind. And I says, do you have a job spec? Because I can put it out in the market there for you. So never heard from him again. I was speaking to him at the end of the summer about, again, it was actually at an event. And we were talking away and he says, oh, by the way, I probably came across rude. I never got back to you about the job, but I actually filled it. Okay. And how he filled it was a graduate contacted him through LinkedIn. Now, didn't know he had a job, but some of you will call that luck, that when he did send him a message that he did have a job on, brought him in, had a chat with him, and he started a week later. Okay, now, no competition, absolutely no competition at all. Okay, let me give you one other quick story. Professional guy I worked with now in the summer, in Christmas, it'll be 2 years. Okay, this guy's job was made redundant. He was quite a senior guy within an organization. His company were paying for him to work with me to help him transition into new employment. Okay, so we were going through the normal stuff. First thing I'd done was got a CV together. I was saying we started talking about job search strategies, and I mentioned LinkedIn. Had never heard of it before. Okay, had never even heard of the system before. Helped him create a profile, told him some of the strategies I'll tell you now. Now, we were connected on LinkedIn, so I could see his activity. Now, this guy was brilliant because he was doing a lot of activity on LinkedIn, but he was also traveling the country in his car, meeting old clients, meeting old work colleagues. Okay, so he was very proactive as job search goes. Anyway, I was working with him sort of December, so things were quieting before Christmas, so January picked up again. Middle of February, he emailed me and says, Paul, great news, just want to let you know, thanks for your help, I got a job. And I says, brilliant, well look, give me a call or tell me when you're free to talk and I'll catch up, okay? So anyway, phoned him and says, how'd you get the job? Okay, now this is how his story went. He was doing all his networking, I knew he was, right? And he said there was one lady, an old client, where he said, Paul, I wouldn't have phoned her. Okay, because maybe the relationship wasn't that he would phone up and talk about sort of like, you know, where he was at career-wise and things like that. And LinkedIn was just easy. So he sent a message through LinkedIn to connect. okay, and filled her in on what the scenario was. She came out of her office, meeting with one of the other directors, sat down, okay, they had just discussed hiring somebody, opened up the inbox, saw who it was, 3 meetings later, he had a job. Okay, again, no competition. Now, a lot of people will say, you know, oh, that's luck, and look, these people created that luck, okay, in my mind, because they were taking positive actions, okay? Now, so how do you attract LinkedIn, or sorry, people? Now, there's 2 pools here. There's inside LinkedIn, so on the system, how do I bring people to my profile? But there's also outside of LinkedIn, okay? So you can bring people from other network sites, you can from Twitter to your profile, from Facebook, and I'll talk about that now in a minute, okay? Now, when you join LinkedIn, when you create and set up your profile, okay, the first thing you'll do is start connecting. Okay, now connecting, again, I'm not going to show you online. It's like requesting friends on Facebook, okay? It's finding somebody you know, and like Facebook, LinkedIn will prompt you where you went to school, where you worked before and stuff like that, of people that you may know, okay? You connect with everyone you know, okay? A lot of people say to me, oh, but I mean, my sister's a nurse, who will she know? Or my dad is in the civil service, who will he know? Okay, now you don't know who he knows. Okay, he knows, all of those people know 100, 150 people, and that could be the person that gets you your job. The stronger your network, the wider your network, the wider your reach, and I'll show you something very important in the next slide. Okay, so connect, okay? So start searching. Now, for those of you who haven't joined LinkedIn already, when you join, it'll allow you to invite people from your Gmails and stuff like that. Just don't do an auto blitz, because you'll be inviting sort of like the cake person at your sister's wedding or something. You were emailing for plans for your wedding. So just select who you want to invite onto your LinkedIn profile. But that's the first thing you do, is grow your profile. Now, write this down. This is something today. When you invite somebody to connect on LinkedIn, you can, I'll show you here now, you can, you send them a message, okay? Right, I'm just going to pick somebody random here. Okay. Okay, now, let me go in here. Okay, now, simply, I'll go into the profile, I'll click connect. Okay, now it asks you, how do you know this people? How do you know this person? Okay, so you'll indicate how they know. I mean, I question, if you don't know the person, what are you asking them to connect for? Okay, at the very least, if you don't know somebody, okay, and you're going to connect with them, at least fill out this. I get about, see that there, 74. Like I've like that, and like I delete some of those because I won't connect with. If I meet with somebody, engage with somebody, I talk with somebody, yeah, I'll connect with somebody. But you know, it's about me trying to keep a tight network here as well. It's not about numbers here; it's about quality. Okay, and the stronger your network, you can leverage into that network. Okay. Now, at the very least, what I want you to do is at least tell the person why you're connecting. If you're connecting with a friend you spoke to 3 weeks ago, I still want you to engage with them. I still want you to say, hey, how are things? Okay, because you still want to be talking with them. You still don't just send them a blank invitation to connect, because you've missed a trick then. You've missed a trick to talk to that person again. Okay, now, once you connect with people and grow your network, I then want you to join groups. Okay. You can use the search function here. So let's say somebody is HR, you're a HR graduate in Ireland, okay? There's a lot of professional networking groups on here, and this is where the real, to me, a lot of the real value comes of LinkedIn. You can join groups with other peers, professionals, and if you join a HR group in Ireland, you can be damn sure that probably like a lot of the key decision makers, a lot of the key people who you want to engage with are part of that group, okay? Now, another little trick, by joining a group on LinkedIn, it actually indirectly grows your network. Okay, now for those of you, I only have a basic LinkedIn account, by the way. You can buy a sort of a job seeker account and stuff. people ask me every day, are they valuable? I say if you used 20%, if you use 20% of the power of the free account, you'd be doing well. I have a group on here, you can write it down, Measurability, Careers and Jobs Club. Okay, again, it's some careers professionals, job seekers, sharing ideas, sharing articles and stuff like that. You're free to join that. But yeah, a lot of people, interestingly, there's a marketing group on here, and I'm nearly sure that the lady, I think it's the 121 Club, the lady who set it up, I think might have been between jobs at the time and set up this club in the real world and has brought it online. She's probably the most known marketing person in Ireland now, because there's like 3,000 or 4,000 members of the group. Everybody in Ireland to do with marketing probably knows her. She's the most, that lady will never have to look for a job again. Okay, because of she's now very visible and very, very well known. Okay, so just again, I'm conscious of time here now. So join groups, okay, and activity. Activity is the key within groups. In these groups, there are discussions, okay, where you can engage. Okay, now, sorry, the other point I was going to say, when you join a group, okay, the difficulty with having a basic profile is you can't send a message to people who are outside your network. Okay, once you join a group, you can send those people messages or use the status update to talk to people. So if you're coming here today or you're attending like a networking event, or you've read a relevant industry article and stuff like that, you can share that with people similarly as you would your Facebook status as well. Okay. Now, drawing traffic from outside of LinkedIn. Now, hugely important. I showed you earlier on how to get your website address. Okay, now I want you to use that website address to bring people to your profile. Okay, now first thing to do, put it on top of your CV. Okay, just where your contact details are, you can put your LinkedIn profile. You can also put that LinkedIn profile on your cover letter as well. Okay, on the signatures of your email. Okay, so you send out emails every day to people. Okay. Companies, a lot of businesses use that email, the bottom of that email, to market something, to sell something. Okay, what I want you to do is have the link to your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so somebody can click and come back and see your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so every day you're sending out an email or replying to somebody, you're potentially drawing traffic to your LinkedIn profile. And again, this is something I used again when I set up Measurability 6-7 years ago. Okay, I had a nice sort of shiny, well, I thought it was nice anyway, shiny website. But when you set up a new website, it's about 40 pages, 50 pages if you're lucky, down in Google. No one's ever going to find it. Okay, a lot of people, when they set up businesses, they think, oh, I've got a website now, I'll sit back, you know, put the shades on, you know, lie out in the garden and wait for the people to come. It doesn't happen. Similarly to your LinkedIn profile, having it, you have to take action to bring people to the profile. Okay, so what I done was, I was commenting on other sites. I was writing articles for other sites. When I wrote the article, I had a link back to my website, so somebody read the article. I was writing articles for newsletters, for e-zines, for everything. I was getting my web address as visible on the web as possible. So I was casting a net, and that's similarly what you can do and use the same principles that businesses will use. Okay, so as well as that, get yourself a business card. Okay, again, you know, something, it doesn't have to be too fancy or jazzy here, where you put on your contact details, what you do, and your web address, your LinkedIn profile. That's your website. So someone takes that away, they can come and take a look at who is this person, what are they about. I said your email signature. The other thing is, we spend, now I can't remember the statistics of Irish people, how long they spend each week online, okay? Now it's a lot of time, okay? You're probably sitting there yourself nodding and saying you spend a lot of time online. Reading articles, reading blogs, probably, you know, what I'm telling you to do now is try and make that a bit more productive. Now, I laughed earlier on saying about slagging celebrities and stuff like that online, but that's what a lot, you know, that's what a lot of people do, you know, do is follow and read what are they up to and stuff. Let's start using this time a bit more positive, okay? So on your Twitter, if you have like a fun Twitter account, okay, set up a professional account, okay? It'll ask you for a website. Well, then you put your LinkedIn profile. Okay, I'm amazed how many people, I'll always remember speaking to a lady, and she was always on Twitter. I knew her sort of through Twitter, and I didn't realise she was job seeking. Until one day she sent me, oh Paul, you know, I heard you doing this talk, I'd love a chat with you one day. Because on her profile it says, you know, I love cats and I do this, and you know, I'm a compulsive shopper or something. And you know, I didn't know any, apart from that and her tweets, I didn't know anything about her, okay? So, you know, something simple I told her was, okay, tell people professionally what you do, and actually that you're looking for a job. Okay, put a link to your LinkedIn profile as your website, so if somebody does come across you online or one of your tweets is retweeted and somebody reads it, that they can actually go in and see who you are and what you're about. Okay, so this is what I was talking at the start of the exercise about visibility. Okay, now, you know, you can treat this whole social networking sort of like phenomena, you can harness it and harness it in a positive way for your job search. Again, forums and blogs. Okay. A lot of companies, a lot of multinational companies will have a blog on their website where they update people, write little articles about, yeah, this is what's happening with the company and stuff like that. I'm always amazed, okay, why nobody comments on these blogs. Okay, I'm always amazed why, you know, oh, I read your blog, it's, you know, it's beautiful, I've been following. It shows two things, okay, to me, okay. One thing, you'll be able to communicate with that company, okay. You'll get on the radar, but you're showing an interest in that company that you're actually following, you know what I mean? You're following their blog, you're reading about your company. Do people want people who want to work for them? Damn sure they do, okay. Twitter, okay, I have a funny story now, because I'm in video, I can't mention the company, but I was having difficulties with a gadget, okay, and I was ringing up customer service, phones weren't answering. Okay, I looked on their website, and the global leader, vice president, director of customer service, responded to your issues within 24 hours. He doesn't, okay. But anyway, I was on Twitter one day and I says, you know what? And I says, is anyone having issues with at the company name? Because I've been trying for weeks and I can't get hold of anyone, right? Within 45 minutes, there was a reply, and it said, can you contact this number? We'd love to help you out. Why did they come back to me? Because it was negative. I would know, I was being careful now. I didn't want to be negative, but I was just saying, hey guys, is anyone having problems? I'm trying to contact them. I was trying to keep it positive, because it was potentially, you know what I mean? It was potentially like it could be potentially perceived as negative to them, but that's basically it. They wanted to be seen to be, oh yeah, positive dealing with this. So that's how you can communicate to people. That's how you can get in touch with companies. Simply following a company on Twitter. Okay, one of the, you know, it's different things strike me when I'm working with individuals, but one that stands out with me is doing interview preparation with a young girl, and I was asking her a typical question you'll all be asked when you go to interview: what do you know about our company? Okay, so we were doing a role play, and I says, well, what do you know about our company? And she was yap, telling me about the company, and she says, and I also follow your Twitter feed, so I've read, you know, these articles and stuff. That differentiated her, because I had never heard that before. Okay, she stood out. She made herself memorable. Okay, so again, as well as communicating to someone, Twitter can show that you're interested in an actual company, because you're following you're following, and then things like research for your interviews and stuff like that. All this sort of stuff, as I said earlier on. You get free information on here. We'll certainly LinkedIn and Twitter can do that.
Could I just ask you really quickly, is it true that a lot of the stuff you put up on your Twitter and your Facebook can just put you in a negative light to companies? Like, a lot of them they say a lot of them would check up your profile before you go for an interview, or after you go for an interview?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, like, my rule of thumb generally, I know you can't control it all the time, but my rule of thumb generally is, you know, I use Facebook and I use it for fun. I'm more, you know, I watch what I say, but like, my general rule of thumb is, if I don't want it on the front page of the Irish Times, I don't click the button. Do you know what I mean? So what I post, you can't control. That's the unfortunate thing. You can't. It's just like companies can't control negative comments, be them real or be them unreal. You know, like, without getting too scientific, you know, you can, like, start, you know, managing your profile online when you get into your careers. You know, there's a lot of tools to do that, to see what people are saying about you. What, you know, if you have a company, what people are saying about your company, so you can start managing that positively. Interestingly, on that topic, the most the most impressive one I ever saw was your man from the Dragon's Den, the Organics Tan. Which one is he again? Anyone? Okay, I can't remember. But he's the guy that bought the Organics Tan. But they were slagging him on Butte.ie. Okay, and you know, this is like negative. What's he doing? Like, he's supposed to be a big businessman and he's promoting this, and it's totally turned me off the product, blah 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 blah. He came on. Now he's a communications guy anyway. The name will come back to me. But he Gavin Duffy, yes, Gavin Duffy. He came on and he replied. Okay, and you know, you watch TV, and I must say I didn't have a positive impression of him. I read this and I was nearly crying. I wanted to hug him. Okay, because he went in, this is how positive, and you talk about how those comments started changing. Oh my God, I'm so impressed, such a positive message and stuff like that. It's amazing. You might find it's an old post under Butte.ie's blog. Okay, now, so that's how to target the, access the hidden jobs. Okay, now advertised jobs, very quickly. Even though I said reacting to the job market, it's going to be tough, okay? I'm not telling you not to use recruitment agencies. I'm not telling you not to apply for advertised jobs. I'm not telling you not to go on to Irish Jobs or Recruit Ireland. Of course you are. If there's jobs there, you're going to be targeting them, okay? Now, what I'm probably trying to say to you is sending a CV in a lot of these cases is like, you know, it can be a waste of time, because there's so much paper going in here. It's very hard to stand out, okay? So let me give you an example of how someone used LinkedIn to target an advertised job. I was doing a bit of career lectures down at one of the colleges, okay, as part of the Springboard program, okay. One guy came in on the last day. I was talking about interviews, and I asked, has anyone done an interview recently? He was one of the people that put his hand up, and he says, well, what was your experience like? And he says, no, I want to tell you about how I got the job, okay. He was networking in the class. There was 4 different IT, pharmaceutical, gaming, all came together. So he was in my class with people he didn't know. One of the guys from the other class sent him a link to a job for a graphic designer. This guy was doing a different course to what he wanted to do. He wanted to do graphic design, okay? Now this link was for a graphic design. He had a dilemma, right? And his dilemma was this: do I take the great advice Paul gave me about CVs, re-edit my CV and send a CV, or do I take the advice Paul said is try and do something different to target this job? So he was caught between that, because he really wanted this job. It ticked all the boxes he wanted, okay? So he finally bit the bullet, and he says, you know what? He went on to LinkedIn, okay? He searched and found people who worked in that company. And he made an approach to somebody who worked in that company, asked them a question, okay, engaged with the person. Now, the long story is, his CV got to the hiring manager through that person on LinkedIn, okay? Now, a couple of important points to come out here. He sat at interview, okay, and contrary to what most of you think, when the interview started, they were asking him, why, you know, I'm interested why you approached us this way. Do you always do this? And he says, to be honest, it's the first time I've done it, okay? They were impressed, okay? Now, second interesting point, how many people do you think applied for that job? Take a guess, anyone? Loads, yeah. 420 odd people. He was told that by the hiring manager, okay? And here he was, sitting there, interviewing and meeting this person. Now for me, this is the most important point, right? He was at that interview, okay, and it became clear in that interview it wasn't a pure graphic design. There was some web development in it which he hadn't done. Now they honed in on that and says, well, you know, you haven't got this programming language, but he had the opportunity to sit in front of them and say, what I bring to this role is creativity, okay? You can't teach somebody that skill. That programming language, I'll know that in 6 weeks, just like I learned that language before. Give him an assignment, give him a little project to do, and he's now working in that company. Okay, now this goes back to my point earlier on about you know, like this to me is going in the side door of the company. Okay, and to like LinkedIn was an opportunity to do that. This guy bypassed all the traffic. If he had sent a CV, okay, who's to guarantee that he would have got an interview? We'll never know. okay? But certainly the 60, 80, 100 jobs he applied for before and didn't get a response, the frustration that has forced him to go and do a course on something and reskill himself that he didn't really want to do, showed him that he didn't give much hope on sending a CV to a job, okay? Now, just very quickly, final points, because I'm caught here for time. So, LinkedIn can help you research. LinkedIn can help you research a company in advance, so you can send a targeted cover letter. You can find out about them, what the challenges are, so you can send a targeted cover letter. Now, here is actually, one thing very, very powerful, okay? Now, this is the importance of a quality network on LinkedIn, right? Now, if Microsoft tomorrow advertised a job in the paper, okay, for a graduate program, what would you do? Quickly, anyone. It's not a trick question. No. What would most of you do? You'd go, you'd look at the address, you'd get the email address, you'd reshuffle your bland CV, you'd reshuffle your bland cover letter, and you'd fire it off. Right or wrong? Hands up. Okay. Now, flawed. Okay. Now, what I would do, this goes back to, this is why LinkedIn is so powerful and these networking sites. You don't know, if I ask most people, do you know somebody working in Microsoft? They'd probably say, oh, I don't think so, no, I don't know. Your brain cannot work out who you know and who they know, but LinkedIn can do that for you. Okay, so if I saw a job advertised, okay, the first thing I would do is I would go on to LinkedIn, I would search for people. Can I spell Microsoft? I put Microsoft in there. Okay, now this lists all the people I know in order of first connections, which are a direct connection, to second connections, which means somebody connects us, okay? So let's ignore the first connections there for a minute, okay? So, which are a lot of them. I know a lot of people working in, and to be honest, I wouldn't have even told you. Hold on, let me go to second connection. Okay, so here we have a second connection, okay? So let's say this lady, who's actually the talent acquisition director, was my only connection. She's a number 2, okay? What LinkedIn does for me is it says, hey, Paul, Declan connects you with this lady, okay? So while you're all sending your CVs to Microsoft, getting lost, you're chopping down sort of like small rainforests in South America and stuff to send off your CV, I'm phoning Declan, and I'm saying, Declan, these guys have got a job, what can you tell me about? Can you give me an introduction, okay? I'm slipping in, you know, the side door while you're all rushing in, trying to fight each other through the front door of the organisation. Now, this mightn't guarantee me a job, okay? Me personally, I would never want to get a job because I know somebody, but that's just myself. But what it would guarantee is for me to at least get the opportunity to sit down and have a talk and present myself, rather than send a cold sort of like 2-page document that tells me nothing about you. Okay? Right, that's it.